All right, guys, if you can hear me, just give me a second. I just want to check my volume. Okay, so you're not, don't worry, it's working. I just need to make sure that I check my stuff here. I like to pull it up on my phone. Here, I'll just turn the camera on here. I like to pull it up on my phone. That way I can see at least what's going on. I can see that it's working good and whatnot. I can see that the volume's working. All right, looks like it's working to me. Okay, cool. All right, so we're going to get into in-depth training on events. That's what I said that we would do tonight, and that's what we're going to do. So it's expect that this is going to take a while. What I'm going to do, it's not going to be perfect because I don't want to have to keep jumping on live stream over and over and over again. So what I'm going to do, it's not going to be perfect, but I'm going to tell you guys when I'm done a section, and then I'm going to sections. Then what you can do. Damn it, just switch microphones again. All right, sorry, okay. My microphone is being a pain in the ass because it looks like I've unplugged it and plugged it in way too many times. So we're going to go through this training, okay? And then what I'd say is again, hopefully without interruption, is I'm going to, at the end of each section, say, hey, this is the end of this section. We're going to jump now into the next section. So then you can make a decision as to what's important for you to watch, and then you can check back and you can at least have a relative time that you're going to be able to get into it. Okay, so because I'm not going to be able to perfectly be able to tell exactly when by time when one section ends, when one section begins, because my phone's not telling me here. So yeah, you got it. Okay, all right. So you understand. I'm going to bring up a Microsoft Word document real quick. I just kind of took some notes. I suggest that you take notes too as we go through this. Okay. All right. So you see my notes here. All right. We're going to go through a bunch of different things. We're going to talk about preparation first. I'm going to go through scripting. Then we're going to go through rebuttals. Now, attached to this file that you're being sent, you're going to be sent a file with the scripting and the training manual in it, essentially. And then you're going to be sent so you have a guide to kind of go along with me. Then you're going to be sent the YouTube videos, two separate YouTube videos. One is the initial first video. One is, of course, the second video, okay, which we're doing right now. So we're going to get first into preparation. I want to remind you about one thing, though, just in case you didn't watch that first video or in case you forget. While we're doing this because we just did a number of one-on-ones. We're going to do more one-on-ones as the weeks go by. I got to do everybody. So I've done a lot, which the paperwork will get to you soon too. A lot of stuff to do in a short period of time, but we just did one-on-ones, and I feel like we can look at the numbers and remember what I said earlier, that 20% number is what we're going for. Okay, there's certain events that we're not getting 20% of the sweepstakes that we're getting. We're not booking 20% of the sweepstakes that we're getting. Okay, and there's other events where we're not getting enough sweepstakes. Okay, that's straight up. All right, and I can look at a couple of those different events, and we can talk about those different events too. And we didn't talk about that as much earlier because the focus was on that one singular thing, which was what percentage of sweepstakes are we booking. When we get into the sweepstake conversation, what percentage of those are we booking? And for some events, it was great. For other events, it was not. At places like Shop and Save and CNS Markets, and then over here in Matsuba's, we were drastically failing at the amount of leads that we were getting from the sweepstakes that we were getting. Now today, that did change a bit. Okay, so I will say that today, I'm extremely impressed with what went on at the Shop and Save. I think it proved to us what we can do. I mean, if we didn't already know it, what we can do. We booked a much higher percentage of those leads, and we're going to go over that too. We can touch on that. We can see that. Okay. So we're still in November here. Okay. Well, you can't see this. Hold on one second. Just to sort of prove my point. All right. We're still in November here. Let me just make sure I'm on the right thing here. Yeah. Okay. All right. So it's still in November here, as you can see. Okay. You can see direct mail, direct email, so on and so forth. Retail's right there. Events is right there. Event sweepstakes is right here. Okay. Look at event sweepstakes, guys. 121. That is suffering right there. 9 booked out of 121. That's something that the call center needs to work on, no doubt. They've only booked 7% of those leads. They probably should be around 12 or 15%. But we have not been getting them enough sweepstakes. Now, a lot of those are falling under retail, and that's great. But still, is truth that numbers tell, okay? And the truth of the matter is that retail is going great, events not so much. Our sales amount has suffered. It's suffered because of these problems, okay? And it's not like, look, I know that you don't get directly paid on that or whatever. You do though, because of course, the more leads we run, the more demos we run, the more you get paid, okay? All right, so let's dive into retail here again one more time. We're going to talk about a separate thing that we talked about earlier again, okay? Just want to make sure. Okay, cool. All right, so again, I pointed earlier to this percentage here of leads booked. If you didn't watch that video, go watch at least that beginning part. I mean, that's something that you should watch before you watch this, definitely, because that is so important to our mission and to what we can accomplish. That is going to tell you exactly what you as an individual needs to do to be successful in this company. Okay. Now, when I say we're not getting enough sweepstakes too at certain events, what am I talking about? Okay. Well, if we go down here, guys, we can see certain things. Okay. Like, all right, WCPA Pet Value. Okay. I know that wasn't a huge location. I know we weren't there many days. One sweepstake in there. Okay. Now, there might be stuff that we're missing out on there or whatever, potentially not by a significant amount. We maybe got 5, 6, 10. Okay. That's a problem. That's a problem because I understand it's not very busy. Same thing with down here, Benny's Pet Depot, or where are we at here? Just Jack's, for example, where we got 0 sales, 10 sweeps, and 5 leads. Our lead to sweep ratio is really, really great there. The amount of sweeps there is awful. And I know that it wasn't very busy, but it was busy enough to get more than 10 sweepstakes there. I mean, come on. True Value Halifax, we had a little bit of an opposite problem. We got enough sweeps, I think, for True Value Halifax, maybe a little bit less than we should, but we booked 6% of those. That's awful. You know, if we're just being honest with ourselves, that's not great. Fiore True Value, it's busier than Halifax and Dauphin, probably combined. 25 and 4, we booked a good percentage of the people. We didn't get enough sweepstakes in a situation like that, okay? Ace Harrisburg, you can sort of ignore there because we ended up not doing that in November. So that's just carryover from the month before. I think we ended on November 1st with that right around there, the first day we worked in November. Nittany Mall, this actually ain't too bad when it comes to amount of sweepstakes because we only started doing that halfway through the month there. But 2 leads, I mean, it's 11%. I think 4 to 8 would be my number there. Yeah, so you can see where I'm coming from. In Petco, Carlisle Pike, we got 35 sweeps and 7 appointments. We booked 20% of our people. That's great. But look at here. Pet Value Harrisburg, we got 54. Petco Harrisburg, we got 91. I know we were in Petco Mechanicsburg more. I know Jonestown Road Harrisburg is busier. But I mean, there's a big, significant difference there. And one of the biggest differences that you see is we got different people on different events. And that's the way it is. True Value Dauphin, we have 63 and 13. That's fantastic. That's really, really good for that event. We were at Halifax nearly just as much as that. 63 and 13. Remember that number? 32 and 2. Wow. That should tell you the biggest story right there. That tells you what you need to know. Okay. All right. And it doesn't, I mean, it makes sense as to why we at least had, I mean, we could have issued more leads from here, really. We issued 3 leads from here. We at least had a sale from here that paid for it $21,000. I mean, we're lacking in that department. Again, you want to make more money, guys. You want to talk about, leadership growth, growing positions here and stuff like that. We need to generate and make our value. Right now, retail is costing us a higher than probably 20% cost of marketing at this point. There's no way anybody grows with a 20% cost of marketing. I'm sorry, but there's no money to spend at that point. You're spending way too much on the marketing cost, way too much on the window. Reality check is that we need to probably get this amount, the 272,000 up to a minimum of double that. I mean, remember, this is West Central and Central. Now, I know we got other stuff from events, stuff like that or whatever. It's insignificant compared to what retail does. $272,000. Now, there's a couple things here that we got to point out. 21% close rate sucks, and $10,000 average sales sucks. That's something that the sales reps have to work on, no doubt. And we can help them by getting them good quality appointments. But the biggest thing that's going to happen here is us getting our numbers in check. That's what's going to help us more than anything. Sorry, I put this nasty lotion on my hands, and it's like, it's good stuff, but it's like the medical stuff. So it's very, very, I don't know, sticky, I guess is the best way to put it. It only really gets in if you wet it too. So I apologize. I didn't need to tell you that, guys. You guys didn't either. I mean, Johnstown Galleria, we weren't in for a super long time, but 4 sweepstakes and 2 leads. I mean, come on, it's a great ratio. Not a lot of numbers to speak of. We need to get that number up to execute the plan that I'm going to talk about at the end of this. We need to get that number, guys, up to at least double that, a minimum of double that. Okay, our cancellations are killing us because they're above the percentage of our close rate, but it's not. That's not what's doing it. What's doing it is the fact that our volume is not high enough. We're issuing out of retail 126 leads per month out of both locations, okay? And we're setting 273. We're issuing a fine percentage of those, 54%. We're not setting enough. We got 1,418 sweepstakes. 2 things there. A, how can we get that number to 2,000? And B, how can we get that set appointments number up to about 450? And then how can that transition in the same way to a higher number if we issue leads and a higher number of sales close rate? That's our mission here. That's going to be our core thing that we're trying to solve right here, right now, because that's going to get you the growth that you want to get. Okay. Now, if we jump over to events for a second, get in here. Stupid internet, man. I don't know what's worse, the internet at my house or the internet at work. So we're just going to roll with it. Let's try this. So events. Okay. So events would be our next source here. Okay. So let's take a look at that real quick. All right. So we got Masonic Temple Fall Craft and Vendor Show. Names with phone. So I guess that's callbacks. Then 6 leads booked, 3. We probably got a couple sweepstakes or whatever too. Look, it paid for itself because we had 100% close rate and a $27,000 average sale. But that's the only reason why I paid for itself. You should never be in a situation where 100% of your leads sell. That might sound counterintuitive. Of course we want that or whatever. No, that's a great revenue share. I mean, whoever did that, I'm not bringing up names on purpose, but whoever did that, great job. That's awesome. You brought in 80K right there. If we didn't have that, we'd be screwed, okay, in a big way when it comes to growth, because that pays for a lot of people's stuff. That paid for a lot of events, okay? However, it is important that we point out where we can gain, okay? Treasures at the Lake Christmas Craft Show. Again, it's a craft show, but three leads booked. 2 of them sell. That's fantastic. It's 2 big sales for WCPA. They sold at 100% rate. 2 issued, 2 sold, 56 grand in sales. It's a 28K average sale. That's insane. Okay. However, again, how do we get more lead volume there? CPA, Making a Difference, 11 in Craft and Vendor Show, 3 leads booked, 2 issued, 1 sold, a 50% close rate, $15,000 average sale. Again, how do we get that lead amount up? Capital City Mall, I don't really have a problem with because it is a mall. 12 leads booked, 12 callbacks rather, 12 appointments, 8 of them set. Okay. 1 sold, 4 went through. Okay, fine. All right. When we get down to this point here, like, look at this, guys. We're paying for all this stuff. Okay. Leesport 1. Like that's Leesport has never been in a position where we've gotten 1 lead there before. 1 and it canceled. What are we doing there? What are we doing here? Williams Grove 3. By the way, we should have more at Leesport than we do Williams Grove. I mean, I've seen people get 9 in a day at Leesport. Green Dragon 4, 3. That's probably 1 day, so that's not bad. Park City Black Mall Black Friday event. 4 leads set, 3 4 leads, 3 set. That's terrible numbers there. That is terrible numbers there. We got to be honest with ourselves, guys. This is where our money is going to come from for growth. I mean, all of these here, okay, if we go through these here. Now, I don't like, I hate when people feel like, well, shit, this is why I'm not going through names here, but look at these realistically, guys. What if we get 2, 3, 4 more appointments at each of these, depending on the event, okay? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Okay, we get 19 events there. If we get 2 or 3 more appointments there, okay, let's say 2.5, okay, 19 times 2.5, we're talking 47.5 appointments, okay? If we use just the same numbers, okay, so we know what set, okay, what issued here. So set rate is here, issue rates. We have a rough issue rate here to a really rough issue rate from some of these events down here, okay? So let's say that they issue at 50%, okay? So we end up issuing another 24 appointments at that point, okay? And let's say they close at this 33% number that we see here at a $20,000 average sale is not going to happen. So let's be more realistic, because this is the problem, is that we should have had more stuff booked and our average sale would have went down. The fact that we hit 161K in sales is just incredible to me. We are lucky that we have a couple people out there that really made some really good appointments there. Okay, but if we times that by, let's say, for example, a 25% close rate, okay, and we times that by, let's say, a $14,000 average sale, which would be reasonable, that's another 83K right there. That's probably where at a minimum we want to be sitting right now. We want to issue more leads. That's the other thing too, right? If we booked here 41 appointments, we shouldn't have issued 24. We should have probably issued closer to 30 of those leads. Okay. It's just a reality, guys, of our situation and what we have to look at. Okay. Lastly, we're going to look at it sweepstakes real quick, event sweepstakes. Okay. Because those are separated from retail sweepstakes. Because it's some of these things, guys, I mean, the amount of sweepstakes we got was absolutely pathetic. And this is stuff that I'm going to have to start looking at every week, which is sad to have to dump time into, but it's the reality. And, you might say, well, yeah, shit, I hate going to Lead Sport, so I don't really care. Maybe we don't do Lead Sport anymore. This and that. Okay, those are hours. Look, if you don't, I understand the way that this is going to break down is you're going to have some events like Lead Sport, and that's going to keep you going at certain events like Ace Hardware or Matzo Balls or whatever, Hershey Park. These events they're the bridge that gets you through the week. Okay. So they're very, very important. They're just as important as any other events that we do, just as important as any other events that we do. And the reality is, guys, is that we have to work these harder, because that's the only way that we continue, again, growing people and whatnot. And sweepstakes do play a big part in that. The problem that I have with our sweepstake amount is that we got 121 sweepstakes here, because 121 is really bad. Okay. That's really bad. I'm in the right place. Well, 121 sweepstakes. Okay. And we have 67 set appointments. That's a over 50% ratio. And over 50% ratio, okay, is either going into callbacks or set appointments. That's really bad. That's really bad, because what it shows is we should have a lot more injected in here as far as sweepstakes. It gives the call center more stuff to call. It gives ultimately you more stuff that's set. It gets you more money. It gets the company more money. The whole situation is good. What killed us here was not having enough. Okay. Making a Difference Lebanon Craft and Vendor Show, we got 3 sweepstakes. I mean, that's not good. Okay. We had just as many appointments as we did sweepstakes, I think. Same thing here, Lead Sport, 7. Okay. 2 of them booked. That's great. Fantastic. Okay. 2 leads issued. Great. Fantastic. The set rate was 29% there. We should have had more sweepstakes. Okay. Our set rate shouldn't be 29% for some of these events. Masonic Temple, Craft Vendor Show, whatever. 3 sweepstakes. Capital City Mall, 26. That's fine for the mall. Logan Valley Mall, 15. That's okay. I mean, it's good. Green Grove Garden Christmas and Craft Show, 9. That's decent for a craft show. I guess it's minimum that we want to be at. 9, 8, 7. Boom. When we go down here, some we have none at. Roots we have 1 at. One. I can't even believe that's right. One. We did that event almost every week, guys. Almost every week. And again, I think we set more appointments than we get sweeps. Okay, Green Dragon, 1. We definitely set more appointments than we get sweeps. Say Morningstar, 2. Okay, these are things, guys, that we gotta really, really, really pay attention to. All right, this is the reason why we're doing this training. Again, I don't mean to harp on you and be a problem for you or whatever, but if we're honest with ourselves about the issues that we're experiencing, it's going to make this a lot more bearable, a lot easier. We're going to see a lot more growth. Now, let's talk about what we want to do with that growth. Okay. So why are we doing this again? What's our goal? I'm going to bring you down here for a second. Okay. So tiered leadership is our goal. That's the future of our department. The future of our department is going to be essentially separate groups operating as independently as one team. That might sound crazy. It might sound like, well, what are you talking about? It's a philosophy that Zappos uses now, which is a big shoe company. Grew itself from a minor, tiny company to a multi-billion-dollar company. Amazon ended up buying it from the CEO that we're going to talk about here in a second for $1.2 billion back like 10 years ago. Our future philosophy is going to be this tiered leadership philosophy. Now, what does that look like and why is that important? Well, because the idea is to decentralize control, okay, and to make smaller teams so more stuff can get taken care of. We have more leaders being built up in the company. So that way, if something happens to, God forbid, myself or someone in a position like mine, then somebody could step in easily and take over those responsibilities. Okay, so that's number one. Okay, that's one mission that we have there. The second thing is that more people can be held responsible for less things. Okay, now if I know that John Smith really, his team has really been having a lot of trouble, and hey, I heard that they, ran into this issue and John Smith was canvassing like he was driving a van like an idiot. I know where to go. It's the power is decentralized. It's not going to be any one person that's to blame for every problem. We have multiple people making decisions and there's multiple opportunities for people. Guess what, guys? That requires money. Okay. The way that this would look, okay, going back into canvassing, and I hate to be condescending. I hate to sound that way, but we know this, right? It's important to point it out. The way that this would look, and you can see me kind of drawing this out on the map here, on the page here, is, okay, a circle represents a team manager, okay? So that circle is going to represent a team manager. And I'd like to see this done with events too, as I said before. Okay, so we're going to use canvassing as an example just because it's what I know. It's simple, it's easy, okay? So let's say, for example, we end this COVID thing, get back to canvassing, okay? Or we do this in events too. All right, and we're able to hire teams of 3 to start out. Each line is going to represent a team member, okay? So we're able to get teams of 3, let's say. All right, so this is what our team ends up looking like. Now, what's the benefit looking like? Well, what's the benefit to the company? Well, traditionally, under our old model, we would have team 1, team 2, and team 3, for example. And they would struggle because team 1 would let's say they were more developed than the other teams. They would end up with 8 people. Team 2 would struggle. Let's say they just started out and they only had 3 and they really had trouble getting above 3. And team 3 was tutoring between 5 and 7. Okay. The problem was all your eggs were in these 3 baskets. Number one. Okay. Number 2. Team 1 was fine. They were on I always say auto tune. They were on autopilot. Andrew would get a kick out of that. Team 2, though, is struggling back and forth. They're having trouble working with their 3 guys, recruiting, doing all this stuff. It's very, very difficult for them. They don't have time to learn and study and get ready because we're like, you need to get people, you need to get people, you need to get people. Team 3, you can't have 5 people on this team. You're gonna ultimately put yourself in a really bad position here. We can't have that happen. So you need to get good at this. You need to go. It put a lot of pressure on people, and it made a lot of work hours for team leaders. Okay, we had team leaders working 60, 70 hours a week, and it breaks down their pay. They go from people that at 40 hours would be making $60 an hour to people that are now making $20 an hour, which is still fine, but they're working a lot more hours than maybe they should be. And this is going to take care of all that. Okay. In addition, coming out of COVID, we wouldn't be able to do this anyways. Coming out of COVID, we would end up having 3 people, 3 people, and 3 people. And we'd only have these 3 teams. Team leaders are going to feel like, well, I'm a manager. I'm not going to go door to door, whatever. And then it ends up putting us in a bad place. If one person loses 2 people, we're in a really bad place. We max out at 9 people here, okay, that are on the road canvassing. Here, we max out a lot higher. So what would happen is we'd break into 6 groups, 6 teams, okay? 3 people. Eventually, those teams would get to 4 people. Okay, great. We're starting to move on our stuff. Awesome. We're starting to see some, some encouraging stuff. Okay, maybe everybody works out. Maybe they don't. It's really easy to manage 3 people or 4 people. It's very difficult sometimes to manage 10. So hopefully everybody makes it. Let's say, for example, person number 2 here. Okay. Person number 2 and person number 4. No, we'll say person number 5. just to make it easier. They outshine everybody else. They really show that they're developing their team. They're doing such a good job. They're doing excellent stuff. It's awesome to see. Okay, what would happen is one of their team members would ultimately replace them to start. Okay, assuming that they had a team member that could do that, or maybe a person from another team would, or whatever. But they would be replaced. Their job would still exist. They just somebody else would be doing it. Okay, and they would then grow. Why is it doing this? Oh, I'm on a Mac. That's why. They would then grow. Okay, and their role, again, represents a manager. Okay, their role would be to manage those team leaders. Again, everybody's getting opportunity here because somebody's replacing them. They're getting paid ultimately more money than they were as a canvasser, and the team leaders growing. Now they're getting paid off of those little smaller teams instead of off of their own production and their canvassers' production. Okay, so the amount of money that can be made here is significant because, again, it's more decentralized. What one person does is not going to affect another person as much in a positive way. We're still a team, but we're a team that operates in units as well. Okay. All right. So then we replicate this system. So, let's say, for example, these guys are managing well. They're managing the team leaders. They're doing a great job. Okay. John Smith over here, he's really shown that he can do a lot. Okay. So John Smith hires another team leader. We help him hire another team leader, and that team leader starts to grow their team. Okay. Great, fantastic. All right, they do a fantastic job. They show that they can keep doing that. Franklin over here is a little bit. He's less into this. He's doing fine, but he's keeping his 3 teams. Okay, John Smith though is killing it. He's doing a great job. We've hired some more team leaders. Well, eventually, John Smith is going to get replaced. Okay, and he's going to move up. All right, and he's going to manage someone that's going to manage his teams. We have tiered leadership here. Maybe it's 2 people. Maybe this person also, team 6 here originally. That person's also showed that they can really be successful. So they're also going to start to lead. Okay. How the hell did I do that? That was wild. Huh. It's like one thing I'm never going to be able to do again, I guess. I don't know if you guys caught that, but it was like a cool arrow looking thing. So you see the point here, guys, is that our tiered leadership allows for a lot more growth. Okay. Even during COVID, our teams will be able to grow much more significantly. It's the difference between us having 9 canvassers and having, 30 or 40 canvassers. Okay. So that's the plan. Now, this concept is born off of a guy named Tony Hsieh, I think is how you say it. He was the CEO of Zappos. Okay. Now, as you can see, it says rest in peace, Tony. He died in November. It was a horrible death. He burnt alive. They think it was a suicide, but his philosophy was so phenomenal. He just obviously had some demons if that's what happened. But I put down a couple quotes here, and we're going to start with these quotes, and we're going to end with these quotes. Okay. Our philosophy needs to be strong. Our team network needs to be really, really strong. Okay. That's what's going to make us move to this next level. That's the ultimate picture. That's why we need to make more money to be able to pay these people that are going to grow into these positions. Guys, think about it. We can't just start paying people tens of thousands of dollars more per year when we don't have the income coming in. When our income level is dropping as a department from October to November and so on. Even though we're doing more events, even though we hired more people, that is a bad thing. We need to reverse that quick. Okay, now the calling is a good thing for this when it comes to the canvassers. I want to get away from the events and retail is where the bread and butter is going to be if we're going to succeed in growing this department significantly. Okay, so these quotes, we got to embody this culture, guys. The first quote here is there's a big difference between motivation and inspiration. Inspiring through values and motivation will happen by itself. So inspiring through values and motivation will happen by itself. Okay. Number 2, for people, character is destiny. For organizations, culture is destiny. And that's why we need to build a strong culture. Don't be arrogant. Don't be flashy. There's always someone better than you. We always got to remember that, guys. People may not remember exactly what you did or what you said, but they will always remember how you made them feel. That's the most important thing. It's a couple words of wisdom. Now, there is a book out there, and I'll put it on the screen here too, Delivering Happiness. And this is by Tony. My suggestion is that you read it. You might go, what's the point? Obviously, the guy, his life ended tragically and whatnot. There's a big point there, though, okay? The book is about delivering happiness to the customers and to other employees and whatnot. It's a fantastic book, okay? So definitely something worth getting into. All right. So the first section we're going to get into is preparation. Our beginning section is over. We're going to take a 2-minute break real quick, okay? I'm just going to grab a quick snack, and then we're going to get right started into preparation, okay? So this live is going to keep playing. I'm just going to mute myself real quick, and then we're going to jump right back in a second, okay? So this will be kind of your pause point as we get into the next section. All right, guys, we're going to get back started in 1 second. Okay. All right, so the first section, training section that we're going to get into will be our preparation section. Okay, so let me just share this screen again with you. All right, now we're going to talk about preparation first because I feel like this mindset game that we play with ourselves is helping a lot of people and hurting some people. But this is definitely a training point that I've always believed in the philosophy that if you go into anything prepared, then you're going to be much, much better off. There's not, I mean, think about sports, okay? Our job is a talent-based job, okay? There's not a ton of talent-based jobs out there, right? I mean, there's great welders, there's bad welders. If you spend enough time learning how to weld, then you'll learn how to weld. You'll become a welder, right? There's not many people out there that go to plumbing school and see it through that aren't able to become plumbers, right? Even with whether it's the military or it's a teacher or I mean, pretty much anything out there that you can think of. I mean, think about your parents' jobs. Most jobs out there, they're not talent-based jobs. Anybody can do them with the proper training, or most people can do them with the proper training. This job is a talent-based job. Any sales or marketing job is a talent-based job. Now, think about what you consider traditional talent-based jobs, right? Acting, singing, sports, any kind of sports position, whether it's broadcasting or actually playing sports. Talent-based jobs, any of them, take a lot of preparation. They take training. They don't take schooling, but they take preparation, okay? If I'm an actor and I want to cut a good scene, then I probably need to prepare my lines a lot before I go out there and act, or prepare myself. Some actors embody their characters. Think of Heath Ledger. Maybe not the best example because of what happened to him, but he fully embodied that character. He practiced, and studied before he went out there and acted as the Joker. Think about Adrian Peterson's 2,000-yard rushing season. I'm sure that there was years of practice that went into that, obviously, in preparation. Michael Jordan practiced religiously, and he prepared religiously too. Bill Belichick, I don't even want to know how much tape that guy watches before he plays a game, okay? So the first item in preparation, because it's so prevalent and relevant right now, is, am I dressed for the weather? Now, we've been extremely fortunate. Even in this cold weather, we've been extremely fortunate that it hasn't been as cold as it is some winters. I mean, we're early December right now, and we're still hitting 50 degrees, 45 degrees in some days. Right now, it's 41 degrees out, 44 degrees out actually right now. And that's pretty good for December 3rd, about to be December. It's 11 o'clock at night right now. As I'm taping this, about 11 o'clock at night. Tomorrow, it's going to be 43, a little bit of rain. Saturday, 45 and sunny, 41 and sunny, 41, 43, 46, 50, 50. We might hit 50 a couple times next week. My point is that that's jacket weather. You're not going to dress in shorts and go out there and feel like you're prepared, okay? Whether it's hand warmers or it's mittens or gloves maybe, or a hat, a scarf. If I grew up in Texas and now I'm up here working, I probably want to over prepare for the weather. If I enjoy the cold weather, that's great, fantastic. Why not bring a jacket with me at least so I can get out there and so on and so forth, right? Am I dressed to do my job too? Do I have on all logoed stuff? If I don't have logoed stuff, then who am I not communicating with to get this stuff? It's a lot easier for you to take care of and track yourself than it is for us to constantly be up your ass to make sure that you're wearing the Renewal by Anderson shirt and that you have a logoed hat on or whatever. Okay. Especially the shirt and jacket though, whatever you're wearing on the outside. An ID badge is another good one too. That's something that I'll make sure that everybody has here coming up because those are very important too. Then we're in the middle of a pandemic. Are you prepared? Do you have hand sanitizer around you, with you, whatever? Do you have a mask on? Do you maybe have multiple masks? If yours break, are you going to be prepared to be able to put a different one on? Okay. These are things that you want to think of. Okay. These are things that you got to think of in order to be prepared out there right now. Okay. In the summertime, it's don't overdress. I mean, I've been out there in the summertime and wearing pants and canvassing and whatnot and a black shirt, and it's extremely miserable and it's never a condition that you want to be in. Okay. So, am I dressed for the weather? My suggestion is wear very, very comfortable shoes that are warm. If you don't have warm, comfortable shoes, or your most comfortable shoes are inherently not warm, maybe let's say that you like, Converse, Chuck Taylors, or whatever, those are cloth shoes. They're not going to be warm. Get some nice wool socks or something like that. I like to wear this nice wool socks when I'm going out there to events, and I like to pull them bad boys up. So I got them up towards my knees. So it's covering me there. Okay. Maybe you feel more comfortable not wearing not just to say, maybe you feel more comfortable not wearing underpants. I didn't mean like that. I meant like pants underneath your pants. Okay. For me, if I'm going out there and it's extremely cold, then I'm wearing pajama pants. Okay. Which, yes, I have on now, and, party in the bottom, I guess, and business in the top, whatever they say. But you have your pajama. I have my pajama pants on. I'll put my jeans on. I have a pair of bigger jeans just for that, just for those kind of days. I'll tuck my pants right into my socks. I'll throw them jeans on right over my pants. Or in this case, if I'm going out to an event, maybe it's khakis, for example. If I'm going to the office, then typically it's jeans. If I'm going to an event, it's going to be khakis. Okay. I make sure that I have my belt ready to go. If you're a guy, you have to wear a belt. You cannot go out there with no belt on as a dude. You just can't do it. You look ridiculous. Put a damn belt on. If it's cold out and I don't want to breeze up my shirt, I wear a lot of button-up shirts. I will then tuck my shirt in. Okay. If I'm wearing khakis with my button-up shirt, I'm going to tuck it in anyways. But even if I was wearing jeans for some reason, let's say I'm stopping by an event or something like that, I'm going to put, I'm not going to wear pants that I can't tuck into. Okay. And I will tuck into my jeans if I have to. I'll wear my belt. I'll make sure that it's closed up because, again, that you're not going to get the draft up there. I wear an undershirt, or in my case, I wear a white beater. But whether it's an undershirt, whatever, something that's going to keep me warm or something that I can tuck into my pants, regardless of what I'm wearing, even if my shirt's out or whatever for some reason, if I'm wearing jeans or something, it's again going to stop that breeze. Okay. I'm going to make sure that I'm wearing gloves. For me, I like wearing very light gloves, so I can still use my phone and stuff like that. But whatever you're comfortable with, all I need is that little extra layer of protection. I like to put hand warmers in my pocket. So if I'm not doing anything, then I can place my hand in there. I can switch it around. I only use one per day because I don't want to waste them. But you can use two if you want to. I just know I'm never going to be using two. Then I usually shave my head. So this is more here than I've had in years. So typically what I would do in a case like that is, I'd wear a hat. I'd have to wear a hat. Okay. I make sure my mask is on. I actually like wearing the mask in the winter because it keeps my face warm. Okay. I don't go as far as a scarf, but I've seen people do it. It's not a bad idea if you're really, really cold. If it comes January and 20-degree weather with a wind chill, my strong suggestion is don't make yourself miserable. Like I see people out there and they're questioning their ability to do the job because they're freaked out about the cold weather. These are things that you can take care of, man. If you like all these other things, if you like the team that you're a part of, if you enjoy spending time with your coworkers and you enjoy talking to the customers and whatnot, this is temporary pain, man. Like this, you're talking about like a month or two long pain. Months have flown. It's already the end of the year. Months have flown by. You've watched months fly by in a job like this. It's temporary pain that you can definitely Band-Aid too. So my suggestion is that you do that. You just Band-Aid that pain and you'll be fine. You will be fine. Okay. Don't blow your job up and don't blow your opportunity to grow up just because of a little bit of cold weather. Something that you can take care of. Okay. Am I prepared to deal with the customers at every level? Do I have all my tools? Okay. Am I going to be able to go out there and mentally handle these customers? How do I prep myself for that? Well, for me, I just take it for what it is. I love it. I enjoy it. I'd rather be busy all day than not. Okay. But where I'm going, I'm going to prepare for that. So for example, if I'm going to Ace Hardware Dolphin, then I know I'm not going to be talking to a ton of people each day. What am I going to do? I'm not going to twiddle my thumbs on my phone all day. I'm going to bring something to do. Okay. I don't want to see you sitting there reading a book or whatever, but maybe it's headphones or whatever. You can pop one of those things in, wireless headphones. You can listen to an audiobook, okay, a motivational book or something like that. You could probably finish several of those. I mean, if you have an hour of free time during the day over your total of 6 or 7 hour shift, then great. Utilize that time wisely. I'm bringing a stack of callbacks with me. I'm calling those callbacks. Again, any lead that I can get is going to be extremely helpful. So I'm going to keep a stack of callbacks with me. When it comes to my tools, I'm going to make sure that I have everything prepared and ready for myself. My 5%, well, when we're using the 5% off, the $500 gift cards, my current promotions, I'm going to know them. I'm going to be ready to do what I do. I don't want any customer getting by me. None of the BS of, well, it's tough because first 15 minutes of the day, I was just preparing myself and blah, 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 blah. No, I should be well prepared to go there, right? Do I know my scripting? And I mean, really know my scripting. You know, that's a good question to ask yourself, because I'll tell you what I mean, I didn't have anybody tell me that they didn't know their scripting this week. And when I script tested people, a lot of people made a lot of mistakes in their scripting. And this is an events thing. This is a calling thing. Do I know my scripting like the back of my hand? When's the last time I've studied it? When's the last time I role played it out? You know, part of our commitment to excelling at this and continuing to excel is going to be over Zoom and bringing people in for role playing sessions, script role playing sessions. Make it fun, make it alive, but make it scripted. Okay. And you can do all of those things at one time. It doesn't have to be boring just because you're doing role playing. Role playing is fun to me. I like testing myself. I like it when an employee tests me. I enjoy that a lot. You know, we were pitching, me and I think it was Tao, were pitching at one point here a couple of weeks ago, and she was like straight up mean to me, like not really mean to me, but definitely gave me a lot of rebuttals and objections, and I enjoyed every second of that. You know, it was like a chess game back and forth, and my intent was to win that game, was to eliminate every excuse to where she had nothing more to say, no more excuses for me. Yeah, be tough on me, be productive, ask me questions that are going to be relevant, but prepare me for the customers I'm going to deal with that day. Am I mentally prepared for the day? And this is, guys, this is one that I mean, I could call you up, right? Or you could be talking to a buddy or something. You could, man, my job is so tough. I don't know what's going on with me. I'm having a tough time. Customers don't seem interested. Customers seem more angry with me. They seem more upset with me and whatnot. And a lot of it could come down to that mental preparation. I've seen this happen to people hundreds of times, man, where, you know, you get to the root of everything and it turns out that person's just had a real tough time. Maybe they got into a fight with their parents. They got into a fight with their girlfriend. Someone told them to get a real job. Someone told them that they're not right for sales. Someone offered them a job doing, you know, cable work, whatever. Their sports team just lost, whatever. I've seen a family member died, COVID-19, sickness. In the earlier meeting, we talked about suicide rates going up. 10% of adults contemplating suicide during COVID-19. It's insane, but a lot of mental issues can happen right now. And all the time. So are you mentally prepared for the day? Now, here's the deal. You cannot just go, well, no, I'm not mentally prepared for the day, so I'm not doing it. Self-help, man. I am not into like this whole, you know, just selling yourself spirituality all the time, but it's not a bad idea to pick up a book, to look up some information, maybe even to see a doctor. If it's just someone that needs help, there's no shame in that. You know, we have a great program called Care Partners. There's some great people there that can be there to help you. There's an app for it, Marketplace Chaplains. You can talk to Jason, our HR manager, about it, and he can hook you up with a free counselor so you have somebody to vent to. You can call me and vent to me. But mentally prepare yourself for the day. Don't call another employee to bitch and whine, because it's not going to be helpful to you and it's not going to be helpful to them. There's no solution that they're going to have for you that going to be that groundbreaking where you have to screw up their day for it. And I get it. The excuse I always hear is, yeah, well, we're friends, we're buddies. Well, if you're friends and buddies, then don't put your problems onto them. Now, I had an employee that, you know, did the right thing, a teammate that did the right thing. One time, he was dealing with a lot of anxiety and issues and whatnot. You know, this is someone that is really dear to my heart today, right now. And he calls me, and the person that he was at the event with was extremely negative. Now, it was a fun event. I'm not going to get into what it is. I don't want to, you know, but it was a fun event. And the events person, or the, you know, canvas, or the events person, whatever, whoever he was with, was being extremely negative in pretty much every way that you can name. And he, you know, he called me and he's like, hey, listen, this person is really being negative. it's freaking me out, man. It's got me like in this anxiety zone. It's killing me right now. And whatnot. And I said, okay, well, I can deal with that employee definitely, or I can have somebody deal with that employee definitely. But, you know, what are you doing to change that? And he said, all right, I just took a walk to my car. It was before the event started. I'm going to chill for a couple minutes. I'm going to go back there and I'm going to take care of this scenario. I don't want you to call the person or whatever. I'm going to deal with it. Just give me a few minutes. I'm just going to chill out in my car for a few minutes. This is before the event started. He mentally prepared himself. Okay, he realized, you know, I'm not going to let this person determine my day. And he went out there and he succeeded to a great level. And there's so many stories like that, guys, that I could go through and tell you, people that were in a bad place that put themselves in a better place. Be the success story. Don't be the person that's all these other problems weighed on me, and so I made my job more of a problem. How does not making as much money solve your problems? It makes no sense at all. How does not achieving the growth that you desire, the personal and the financial and work growth, how does not achieving that, your desires, how does that affect you positively? It doesn't. It's a simple answer, right? Am I ready to be a teammate today? So am I going to show up and am I going to be the other factor that I just talked about? Am I going to be that person that's going to be negative and whiny? Am I going to be a positive influence or negative influence at that event? And I hear this all the time, man. The problem is I hear it too late. I'll have someone that will come in and say, oh man, X person at the last 3 events has been extremely negative and they've been whining about X, Y, or Z. They said that this person makes more money than this person. They said that this person's going to be a manager. We went through all this stuff before, and the amount of bullshit that I've seen, and like, look, I'm not going to go and blame any for that. I think we've gotten a lot of that out just over the last week, and that's weight off my shoulders, weight off your shoulders. Fantastic. But it's absolutely goddamn pathetic, man. It's 100% pathetic to see grown men and women like bicker and lie and make up shit to try to get themselves ahead or whatever. And I see through all of the bullshit too. Like, it's never going to get you ahead. But, you know, we had a situation that happened just, you know, a month or two ago where some employee, you know, whether I heard it was 1 of 2 people or 3 people, was telling people that another employee made more money than them, that they got paid off what the team does, which no one does. No one gets paid like that. No one that's not a manager gets paid like that. Oh, yeah. And that's the other thing, too, is, and they're a manager. Oh, yeah, they're an acting manager or something like that, which the only person that can ever get that done is myself and the people above me. So trust me, if John Smith comes to you and says, oh, Franklin Smith is a manager now, you didn't know that? He's a manager. He's getting paid for everybody's demos. So this, it's not true, dude. And you can ask me anytime, and I will give you the honest answer. I did no. There is nothing that I am unwilling to say to you that I'm willing to say to somebody else. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that if you come to me and you say, hey, I heard this, then I'm going to answer you directly and honestly. And I think that's what we sussed out of that entire situation was, you know, someone was lying to other people, was trying to create a problem for other people. That's not being a teammate. So are you prepared to be a teammate today? Are you prepared to go there and not be a psychologist, not be a friend even, but to be a teammate? You know, if I'm on a football team, I love football. A lot of you guys love football. If I'm on a football team, what do? I don't go sleep with my teammate's wife. I don't go, you know, do drugs with my teammate. I don't go, you know, make fun of my teammate. I don't go, you know, slip steroids to my teammate. Of course I don't. I don't go disparage my teammate to the media or to the coach or to the other players or whatever. I don't go lie about my teammate. I don't, whatever. I don't assault my teammate. No, of course. What I do is I'm there for my teammate when it comes to the game. I'm there to give advice that I am a professional about. If I'm a professional football player that can't save a dime of my own money, I'm not going to talk to my friend here, my teammate, about how he should invest in Bitcoin. You know, I'm not going to talk to my friend or teammate about how he should open his own company. You know, I mean, come on, stay within your purview, guys. Stay within your purview, because it's only going to be positive for you. Okay. I'm not going to talk to, you know, my teammate in the middle of a work hour about the new movie that I watched. No, I'm going to push my teammate to be more successful while taking care of myself too. I'm not going to go and tell my teammate what to do if I'm not well prepared to do it. I'm not going to circumvent my coach's rules to go ahead and tell my team, oh no, yeah, I know that, you know, Doug Peterson, I know his game plan is this, but we're going to do this instead. And no, that's a quick way to get your ass kicked off a team. Go and ask what's his name there, the guy from the Ravens. Go ask Earl Thomas, a guy who just got a major contract a year ago, why he was kicked off of the team. I don't even think he's on a team now. Maybe he is. I don't know. Let me see. This is a guy who's an all-pro. No, he's a free agent. This is a guy who's, think about this. Okay, this guy is has been in the league since 2010. He's a 7-time Pro Bowler, including last year. He's a 3-time first-team All-Pro, 2-time second-team All-Pro, all-decade team, so on and so forth. 713 tackles, 72 pass deflections, 30 interceptions, 11 forced fumbles, surefire Hall of Famer, 2 sacks, so on and so forth. Okay, even just last year, he had 2 sacks last year on top of a forced fumble, on top of 2 interceptions and a whole host of tackles. And he's not on a team right now. And the reason why he's not on a team right now is because he was an asshole teammate. Okay. You don't want to be that guy. Be the change agent. Okay. That's what's going to grow you in the company. You shitting on another employee or shitting on another teammate or friend is not going to grow you in this company. Now I see through all of it. Like I see through all of it. I'm pretty certain that Andrew sees through all of it. I'm pretty certain that Linda sees through all of it, and Scott sees through all of it, and Joe sees through all of it, and Jess sees through all of it. I know for damn sure, I can guarantee you that I see through all of it. I don't have good vision. I have good vision for that kind of stuff. I see the games 150%. Don't be that guy. Am I prepared to have difficult conversations? If not. So if I'm not ready to be a teammate, and if I have a problem, am I prepared to bring that problem to someone that can solve it? If let's say, for example, I heard that another employee was getting paid more than me, even though I felt like I was better than that employee. Look, maybe you shouldn't care. Whatever. I think that it's a relevant conversation. I think that it's relevant for you to bring that to me if that's how you feel. If you feel like someone got a promotion and you should have been that person, instead of just stewing on it and making yourself feel bad all day or feeling bad for yourself all day, come to me and have the conversation with me. I am more than happy to have that conversation any day of the week. Have the difficult conversation. Communication is so important. So important, okay? Paramount. And then, do I understand my numbers? The exercise that we went through in the beginning of this and the exercise we went through in the earlier video, so important. Understand your numbers. What am I doing wrong? What am I doing right? Okay. I've gone through, if you've been in a one-on-one, I've gone through your numbers with you. I'm not going to sit here and go through each individual's numbers right now. But if you're a canvasser / events agent right now, but you're a canvasser by trade, okay, then you have multiple different ways to make money right now. And yeah, it's being watched. Like I feel like there's a lot more that can be done by a lot of people. How do we move to where we're making more money? Like, what are your goals? Okay, since this is specialized towards the canvassers, although it's for the events agents too. Let's talk about the canvassers. Let's talk about the way that you make your income. Okay, you're not going to make much off $11 an hour. This job has never been about hourly pay, and we know that. Okay, but if you're making $11 an hour times 40 hours a week, then what you're making $440. None of you want to be making $440. I can almost guarantee that, right? I would hope not. I mean, we're the best of the best right now that we have left in this department. After we had to eliminate everybody else, I would hope that nobody is here for base pay. Okay. So how do you hit your income, your max income? Well, what I would do is I would compare my numbers based on what I know an event should be. So if my schedule is Roots, okay, and then it's Leesport, and then it's Hershey, and then it's Carnes like place, I guess we'll call it, okay, and then it's Ace 29th. Okay. Well, then I know what to expect here. I know this. I know that Roots, I'm probably going to average, if I do a decent job, 2 leads there. Okay. I know that. Okay. I know that the highest we've ever seen there is by an individual. I think it's 6 leads. Okay. There. All right. I know that 1 to 2 is a constant for someone that's mediocre. Okay, like that's not really trying as hard as they can. Maybe they're mad about being there, whatever. Leesport, I know that I should average at least 3 leads. I definitely should, because the highest is 9 or 10, okay, there. In a constant up until, we started putting people that weren't confident in the event on it, I guess, was a minimum of 3 to 5, okay? That was a constant there. I know that. Okay, so I'm gonna go off the 3 number, okay? Hershey in its current form, okay, not in Hershey Park is not one place, right? We had the Halloween thing, which is different than the Christmas thing. Well, I know now the Candy Lane or whatever. I know now that I should at least get 4 leads there, okay? I know that the highest that we've seen at Hershey, anyways, has been like 15, okay? But I know that between 3 and 7 is a constant, okay, per person. And we're adding tools in there to make it easier for you too, okay? Well, Carnes Lake Place, a smaller version, let's say Leg Up Farms or Matzo Balls or something like that, I know I should get at least 5 leads there. Why? Because the highest ever at a place like that is 15 to 20 by one individual in a day. And I know that between, 6 and 10 is a constant there. Okay, I know that, all right? Now, Ace 29th Street, we'll say, yeah, we've been there for a while. We've talked to a lot of these people before. So we'll say 2. Now, why do I say 2? Because I know that like 9 is the highest that's been there, but I know that 3 to 5 is a pretty good constant there. Okay. So I'm maximizing my income by understanding what my minimum goals are. Okay. So let's see. So I have 5, I have 9 leads, I have 14 leads, I have 16 leads. So I have 16 leads for the week. Okay. Now I want a minimum of, really, I want 60 to 70% of those to run. But let's say, for example, I'm going for 50% of those to run at a minimum. Okay. At a minimum. All right. 8 demos is now my goal. Okay, 8 demos is now my goal from that. I know that. Okay. Well, how do I fit in? If I want to maximize my income, how do I fit in? Because that's pretty decent pay, right? But if I'm in the canvassing situation where I have more that I can do, how do I maximize my income? Well, I know that Roots, I probably worked a 6 to 7 hour shift there. Okay. Lee Sport, I probably worked about a 6 hour shift there as well. Okay. Hershey, I worked probably a 5 to 6 hour shift there. Okay. The Carnes Place, I probably worked a 6 hour shift. And then Ace 29th, I probably worked a 7 hour shift. Okay. All right. So what do I got there then? How much more time do I have available if I'm just trying to do the minimum, which none of us should be trying to do? Okay. Well, let's say 6, 12. Okay. Then we'll add the 6 here instead of the 5. So 6, 12, 18, 24 plus 7. What's that? That's 31 hours. That's going to feel like a lot more because of travel time and stuff like that. But the reality is you're getting travel pay for that. You're getting mileage for that. Okay. So that's not going to count towards your hours. You want to be full time, then you're going to get more hours in there. You have 9 hours of calling right there to do. Okay. All right. Now let's say realistically with meetings and stuff like that, it actually ends up being 35 hours. Okay. So let's say that ends up being 35 hours. And I got 5 hours of calling. That's a minimum. That's if I want to do the minimum. Now, if you want to grow, why would you do the minimum, right? But let's say, for example, we're doing the minimum. Let's say, for example, I'm making 20 calls per hour, 5 days a week, okay? That would be a minimum of 100 calls per week, okay? That's me doing the absolute minimum. What I would do in a situation like this, and that's assuming that we have an extra 4 hours in there each week that doesn't yet exist right in here. Now, what I would do, so I can, off 100 calls, if I'm setting 15, or if I'm talking to, let's say, 15% of people, so I'm getting 15 people on the phone per week, and I'm setting 20% of those people, well, then I'm at 3 leads right there, okay? So in this example, I'm setting 3 leads, and let's say I'm having 2 demos, okay? Well, now I'm at a total of 10 demos, okay? So I'm at $850 in commission at this point now, and I'm in a much more comfortable place. But why should I stop there? There's so much more I could do. Not only is there sweepstakes demos and stuff like that that I can get paid for, but why not do more? Okay, number one, sure, I can take advantage of a little bit of overtime. I'm gonna do some more calls. I'm gonna go, first of all, I'm going to go balls to the wall here. And what I'm going to say is I want to spend at least an hour per day calling. And then on my days off, I want to spend 2 hours per day on average. So maybe it's 2 hours on the day that I have a 5 hour shift. So I don't have to do calling on my day off, right? I'm not saying that you have to do this. What I'm saying is that if I'm in a position where I want to grow and I want to make more money, I want to maximize my potential. So number one, I'm going to be going for the highest number here. Okay. But number two, I'm going to take advantage of my calling too. Right. So now I'm going to fit in a total of about, let's see, about roughly 10 hours. Okay. 10 hours of call. That's what I'm going to do. Okay. Now, 10 hours of calling per week. Well, I don't know. I think we can probably get done more than 20 calls per hour, by the way, too. That's a really roundabout number there. Let's say 25. Okay, that's really low, but that would be 250 calls per week or 1,000 calls per month. And I think that that's reasonable. I don't think that that's too significant at all. Okay, but per week, then that means that if I got a 15% talk to rate, maybe it's less than that, maybe it's 10% or 12%. But that's 37 and a half people per week that I'm talking to. Okay. And then out of those people, let's say that I'm booking, 18% of those, which a lot of you guys are doing more than that. That's 7 extra leads per week that I'm booking. Okay. So that's what I'm going to go for. My goal is to set up 7 leads calling per week. Okay. Maybe let's just pretend like, again, 60% set or go through. Okay. Issue, I guess I should say. That's going to give me about 4 demos per week. Okay. So now instead of sitting at 10, I'm sitting at 12 demos. Okay. Let's say, for example, I have a callback or sweep go through. Well, now I'm at 13 demos. Okay. And counting. All right, great. So 13 demos times 85 is what we have. That's $1,105 in commission. And we've seen people do this before, guys, plenty of times. Okay, plus my $440 base pay. That's $1,545. Now, if I want to go the extra mile, I'm looking for recruits. I'm looking for referrals so I can take advantage of referral bonuses. I want to average at least $100 in extra money per week. I'm at $1,645. Not in a bad place. And you might go, that's a lot of work though, man. That's for sure. You're making your life about work at this point. At the point that you're doing this, you're making life about work. But I don't think it's a bad thing at your age, assuming that you're, a little bit younger than me, as most people here are, not everybody, but most people here are. If you make your life about your career now, you're not going to have to do it in the future. Like I speaking for myself, I'm relatively secure, unless I do something stupid. I'm relatively secure in my career now. I know that I can move anywhere in the country and make more than 99% of the country. Okay. I know that my kids then are going to be taken care of. My wife is going to be taken care of. I know that we're always going to have a certain living wage. We're always going to have a certain lifestyle. That's not going to be, don't get me wrong, lifestyles of the rich and famous or whatever. But it's going to be consistent, and it's going to be, we're not going to want for things that I didn't have when I was younger. In your case, a lot of you guys are the same way as me. A lot of you guys struggle with addiction like that. The microphone popped out. A lot of you guys have struggled in the past too. So you understand where I'm coming from there. You want to give the most to your kids, and you want the most for yourself, quite frankly, too. Okay, so that's my whole pitch there. I'm working more is show that you want the growth. Make your life not about work. Don't make your life about canvassing or events. Make your life about career growth, career trajectory. Okay. All right, it's 11:15 right now. We're going to get on to the next section, okay, which is scripting. All right, just give me, again, another couple minutes. That way we have a break in the middle here. You can tell when we start again. All right, now it's time to jump into our next section. We're going to talk about scripting. Okay, now it's getting extremely late right now, so I apologize about the long video. Again, this is broken up for a reason. All right, you see the questions that are up there on the board. The first one: am I approaching the customer correctly? Okay, or is the customer, when they're approaching me, am I addressing them correctly? I guess it would be another way to put that. Okay. So I've seen a lot of different things out there. I see people falling into a lot of old traps. I don't know. Maybe people just don't like. I'm going to go through a couple different things here, a couple different scenarios here. There's obviously different events that we go to, and the hardest thing I think for some people to gather is the fact that we got to approach each of these types of events differently. Not each event differently, but each of these types of events differently. Okay. So like if I pull up a schedule, for example, I'm just going to look at it real quick. Then I'm going to approach, and this is looking at the CPA schedule, but these things are very similar. I'm going to approach an Ace Hardware different than I'm going to approach a Hershey Park. And that's different than I'm going to approach it Dickens Christmas show. Okay. I'm going to approach the Petco Jonestown Road different than I'm going to approach all of those different things. So the Green Dragon is going to be similar to the Dickens Christmas. Okay. The pet value is going to be similar to the Petco Jonestown. The Christmas Farm thing is going to be similar to the Green Dragon and the Dickens Christmas. And no, I'm not making up that name. That's the thing. Ace 29th Street is obviously going to be the same as Ace Dolphin, which is probably going to be roughly the same as, relatively the same as Hershey Park, but slightly different. It's going to be different, actually. Okay. But slightly similar. The Roots Market is going to be the same as any of these other events that are not Ace Hardware, Hershey Park, or Pet Value. Any of these basic, single day events and whatnot. Okay. So I'm going to approach these different things differently. If I had to break it into categories, I have my charity events, my pet values, my Petcos, my grocery stores, my things like that. Those are very enjoyable. It's a very easy interaction for sure. Your schedule is not going to be made up of those things. Unfortunately, with COVID, those are things that are primed to close down, and they're temporary things usually. Anyways, we don't do those all of the time. If we ran those all the time, then they get dry, right? After a certain period of time, they just, you see the same people, absolutely, and you have to find different ways to talk to them. But I think the most, we should, at a place like a grocery store where people are coming there, once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks. It's different than Ace Hardware. With Ace Hardware, I'm seeing some of the same people, but there is also too, like how often do you go into an Ace Hardware or True Value when you need something for your house, right? So I'm only going to go to Ace Hardware or True Value maybe twice a year, maybe 3 times a year. Okay. Now contractors will go once a day sometimes. All right. But in Roots Market, I'm going to go to, I don't know, once every couple months, or maybe I'm a flea marketer and I do go every week. It happens. You run into different people, right? With the grocery stores, the same people are going to be there at once a month or once every 2 weeks or once a week. Typically, people get on a schedule that they do. So I think that we can go to a grocery store for 2 months, take a month off, and go back for 2 months. I think that that's acceptable, right? I think it's very acceptable to go for 3 weeks and then take off 2 weeks and then go for 3 weeks or whatever. That's fine. That's acceptable. Hershey Park is a constant revolving. It's not the same people. It's different every time. So it's not a revolving door. The opposite, I guess. So there's different interactions at these different places, guys. If I'm at a charity event, that's one type of event. If I'm at a Ace Hardware, that's a different type of an event. Okay, very similar pitch to though my normal one-day events. Okay, and then Hershey Park is different than those. Okay, so we talked about basically 3 different approaches. Okay, 3 different approaches that we can use at different places. All right. Now, let me just pull up my Zoom thing here. Hold on one second. Let's try to figure this all out. Okay. So, am I approaching the customer correctly? Let's talk first about the single day. Let's talk first about Hershey Park. Okay, and places like that. Now, we don't have one of these up in Altoona right now, but we very well could eventually. We will eventually, guarantee it, whenever the Grosso's opens again next year. We'll definitely have stuff like this. Okay. But it's not just about amusement parks, guys. These are about special events that we're doing where we're partnering up with a place. That's what I'm getting at here. It's not about amusement parks. This is about special events that we're doing at places. So at a place like Hershey Park, we are essentially partnering with them to offer the customer different things, right? So with the Halloween thing, it was a pretty basic thing. That's over. So until next year, we're not going to go through that. With the Candy Lane thing that we're in now, it's been a little bit of a struggle to find our balance in what we're doing there, right? And I'll be the first one to admit that. I think that, going into it, we had a plan. The area that we're in did not work out. So then we changed. We knew that we would have to adapt. And we're continuing to adapt. When we get this wheel in, it will be a lot easier. So let's talk about that because that's coming in on Saturday, my understanding is. So it's coming in a day and a half at this point now. So we'll have that for Saturday evening. I'll make sure that I bring that by, assume that it comes in and everything's free and fine and whatever. Okay, it's supposed to be on Friday, now it's on Saturday. It's supposed to be on Tuesday, then Friday, now it's Saturday. So we'll see. But with this wheel, it's a big attractive wheel. People can see it. Okay, it's not this big, by the way, but it's like, it's a big wheel. You've seen them in stores. You spin it and it lands on a color, which you write in typically with the prizes. Okay. So with this, we're going to be offering a number of different prizes. Some of them are going to be silly, okay? A candy cane, a Hershey bar, whatever, all right? Other ones will be extra entries into the contest that we're having. We're giving away season passes or the option to get a $150 gift card to Giant Food Stores, okay? So our pitch should be, come, let us spin the wheel, okay? Sir, we're having a special event. Come on over here. Come on over here. Let's spin the wheel for you, okay? We'll also have something for the kids, too. I mean, a lot of the things are centered around the kids, like candy canes and candy bars and stuff like that. But we'll have a game specifically for the kids, like a pick out of the hat thing or something like that. Okay. Right now, we're doing the pick out of the hat thing for adults too. It's tough. It's tougher to advertise that because no one's like looking at your hat going, "Oh my God, they're picking stuff out of a hat right now. Let's go do that." Okay. So we're gonna have the wheel, and then we're gonna have the photo booth, the photo thing. Okay. The photo thing, it's a tough pitch. It is. It's stagnant. It's there. It's not with COVID and whatnot. Some people will be willing to. Some people won't be willing to. That's not a way to pitch people. You don't pitch people on the photo thing right now because if they say no, then you're pretty much done. You're going to get less people that say yes. The wheel is going to attract people over if you bring them over. Sir, come see us real quick. We're having a special event. Here, we get some treats. We get some prizes for you guys. Hey, we get some prizes for you guys. We want to let you know about our charities that we're working with. Tying charity is never a problem. Tie charity into it. Let's let these people know about the charities. Sir, in lieu of the charities that we're working with, we want to come over here. So help us by spinning the wheel, okay? Now, we're spinning the wheel for them. So here, we're going to spin the wheel for you. Come on over. You could even point them and say, hey, come over here. I'm spinning this wheel for you right now. And then you spin the wheel for them, okay? Boom. They get their prize or whatever. If it's an extra entry, let's say that it's a candy cane, okay? Then you should transition a great candy cane here for you too. And another thing that we're doing, by the way, while you're here, we are giving away free season passes free season passes or the choice to get a $150 gift card to Giant. Okay, so what's your name? Great, boom, boom, boom. Go ahead, you set them up. Great, fantastic. There you go. Okay, we're also going to enter you to win $30,000 with windows and doors, and then you transition. Okay, so it's very easy, right? But it's a different approach. And it's definitely something that you're going to get more used to it the first day that you're there. And then the second day you're there is going to be much easier. And the third day, so on and so forth. As we add Hershey days in all of December, okay, we're going to have a ton of these days. You're going to be seeing a lot more of Hershey Park. You better get used to pulling people over. The struggle at a place like Hershey is you can't come out of the booth now to get people, not far anyways. You might be able to get away with standing on the other side of the table. I don't know. You're not going to be able to get out of the booth and grab people. That was the easiest when we could do that. Okay. So you got to bring people up. So you can't say, hey, come up to win our contest. They're just not going to do it. Okay. You can't say, hey, $30,000 worth of windows and doors, come here. You can't go Renewal by Andersen. You want to replace your windows? It's not going to work, dude. You got to get them up to the table first. So, sir, I'm spinning the wheel for you. Come here. I'm spinning the wheel for you. Get over here. Come on, let's go. Okay, jokingly to the person, that will attract, they're going to feel pressure to come over there, okay? Hey, we get some treats for you kids, come on over. Parents, we get something for you too, come on up here. That's what we used at Halloween, and it worked very, very well, okay? So that would be our approach there at Hershey Park. Our approach when it comes to donations is extremely simple, but here's where people kind of have some problems. Someone brings up, so first of all, when they're walking up and you're handing them a flyer to let them know what we're taking donations for and what we're taking, when they walk up, you need to meet them out there. You cannot wait till they get to the door. It's not going to work out for you. You're going to have a lot of people that just walk in the store without addressing you or talking to you. So you have to meet them out there in the parking lot a little bit. You have to sort of be able to walk with them, and you're stopping them and you're saying, "Hey, we're doing a charity drive today. If you could really help us out," you hand them a flyer or you show them the flyer and you say, "Look, Altoona Soup Kitchen, whatever. Okay, Crescent Food Bank is having a lot of trouble right now. There's a lot of people that are going hungry. This is a very, very difficult time. Okay, point out the problem. Okay, create the problem, and then create the solution. Now, the way that you can help is even if it's a 99-cent can of food, anything that you can grab, a little roll of toilet paper, anything that you can grab would be super, super helpful. Just one item would be awesome. Whatever you can do, and then once they say, "Oh, okay, cool, okay, yeah," and listen. When I'll be excited to see you again. When you come out, you just bring it directly to me right over here. Okay. When they come out, they're going to bring it to you. You just created a problem and a solution, okay, that they can be a part of. And then you created a call to action. You bring it out to me. You got to do that, dude. If you're walking up and you're saying, "Hey, here's some stuff. Can you get a donation for me?" Maybe looking at the ground and whatnot, that's not going to work. You have to create the problem, create the solution that they are a part of. And then you have to create the call to action. Bring it out to me right now. Okay. I'll look forward to seeing you again. I can't wait to see you again and bring it right out onto me. Thank you. Perfect. All right. Then when they come out and they give you the donation, it can't be a week. Okay, well, hey, do you want to sign up for our window makeover? Or, hey, we got a prize for you today. Is it something that you're interested in? Okay, no, it's thank you so much for your donation. This is going to be extremely helpful. Because you donated today, we are having a special gift for you. Because you donated today, we're giving out $30,000 worth of free windows and doors. What's your name? Okay, I'll get you entered. What's your name? All right. We even talked about today doing, thank you so much for your donation. Because you donated today, I have a $30,000 window makeover I'm going to enter you for, and a $500 gift card for windows I'm going to give you. So what's your name? Boom, there you go. Like the large majority of people should say yes to you. Okay. The large majority of people that you talk to will go, "Oh, John, it's John." Okay. If they're a homeowner, even if they're not, sometimes they do, unfortunately. Okay. So that's fine. That's good. Okay. That's an easy pitch. The transition there is where people have trouble to the appointment. Then we have events, and events has always been sort of the tricky thing, because what are we going to do there? And when I say events, I mean events in Ace Hardware, stuff like that. Okay. Where we don't really have a charity premise. We don't really have a special, we have special offers. We're giving out things at a lot of these events. We're giving away $30,000 worth of Andersen windows and doors. We're giving away a $50 gift card to, True Value, whatever. We're doing those different things. That is significant. That is extremely helpful. Okay. That to me is, you're looking for a customer there. You're not looking to, your net is cast very, it's not cast very wide when you start pitching people on just a $30,000 window and door contest. Think about it. For years, that's all events was. Enter to win our $30,000 window makeover. Have you entered to win our $30,000 window makeover? You come here, enter our $30,000 window makeover. There's ways to do it effectively. I think that it's very, very important that you switch up what you're saying. So I think it's important that you do that too. You point to the person, you say, "Hey, come on over. We're having a $30,000 window makeover. Come on over and join our contest. We're giving away $30,000 worth of free windows and doors." That stuff is great. Okay. Switch it up with letting them know about what we are about and who we are as a company. Okay. You bring that person up. You say, "Hey, sir," you stop them. You're standing in front of the booth. You're at Ace Hardware. You're at, X and Y Craft Show. "Ma'am, we're just here today to tell you about the local charity that we're working with. You've heard of the Bethesda Mission. Okay, we've donated over 100,000 pounds of food through COVID to the Bethesda Mission. We've been partnering up with a lot of local businesses. Now, the way that you can help us today is by simply signing up for our free $30,000 window makeover. We got a bunch of other stuff for you too. It just takes a name. What's your name?" Okay, boom. Okay, what you're doing there, guys. Think about the way that the customer's mind works. Okay, put yourself in their shoes. You're walking up, you see some guy standing out there, some girl standing out there wearing a Renewal by Andersen jacket. They have a Renewal by Andersen table skirt. You're thinking windows right away. You're like, "Oh my God, these guys are going to try to sell me." No, I'm not signing up for your contest. I don't believe in contests. I'm not doing it. Okay, a lot of people are like that. Okay. Now let's switch it up. Let's say you're walking up to a store and I say, "No, this is not about windows." I'm not going to start with that, obviously, but I basically say that by saying, let me just tell you about our charity that we're working with. It's a lot less threatening. It's different. Okay. You didn't expect that. And that's evidenced by the amount of people that say, no, 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 I don't want windows before we say charity the second time. Okay. So think about that. That's a good way to approach people too. All right. Second, am I separating the sweepstake from the appointment, which would not be a good thing. You do not want to do that. Okay. You don't want to separate the sweep from the appointment, because when you let the customer know, hey, I'm changing parts here. I'm done with the sweepstake now. We're going into the appointment. That's where your appointment's going to get killed more than anything else. Okay. So right there is where your appointment's going to get killed more than anything else. All right. So you got to be careful when it comes to that. Okay. Here's my suggestion. All right. Don't ask for the signature right away. Okay. During the sweepstake, don't ask for the signature. Okay. Roll right through into the window problems. Okay. So I'm going through the customer information, and then I ask the question. My favorite question is, so if you were to win the $30,000, what would you do first, your windows or your doors? Okay. Well, I'd do my windows. Well, I guess my doors. Well, I really don't know. Both of them are pretty fine. Maybe my windows, whatever. Okay. Okay, great. Well, what's the most annoying thing about those windows then, Mr. Jones? Okay. Or my windows are fine. I guess I do my windows, but they're really fine. Okay. Well, if you had to pick something, sir, what's the most annoying thing about your windows and doors? Okay. Open up the conversation. You're still doing the sweepstake here. You're still talking to them. You have to stand a little bit away from them because COVID, anyways, it's a perfect excuse not to be right up next to them, showing them what you're writing. You're talking to that customer. Okay. You're asking these questions. You're getting the window information from them as best as you can before you transition. Okay. And then that's when we get into need here. Okay. Now, need is a whole nother section that I'm going to do tomorrow, talking about need specifics, the need conversation. Okay. But am I getting enough need is an important question, because how you transition and how that customer reacts to you, what excuse they give you, this is all going to hinge on this question here. If I'm a customer and I tell you, yeah, no, my windows are fine. They're really not that bad. They're pretty good. They're great. Whatever. I'll do the contest because I feel bad for you, but whatever. And you let me get away with that. How the hell do you expect me to transition into an appointment? How do you expect me to, if your big pitch is your windows are slightly drafty, now I'm going to bug you over and over again. How is that enough to push me to want to do this? It's the answer is it's not, right? So this is a lot easier for the canvassers because they're so used to it. But I've seen even a lot of people, canvassers that have a lot of this window knowledge, I've even seen them fall off from this a little bit. Okay. Or in certain instances, I've seen them go a little bit too far and talk themselves out of an appointment. Okay. Again, we're going to do an entire need video all about window problems and pain. So we're not going to spend much time on this, but I would start with those two core questions. What would you do first, your windows or doors? And what's the most annoying thing about your windows? And then I would go from whatever the customer says. Well, they're a little bit drafty. Okay, well, there's obviously a reason why they're a little bit drafty, sir. When did you start to notice that? Oh, when you moved in. Okay, how long ago was that? Only a year ago. Well, congratulations, sir. That must be great. Okay, well, looks like you're probably starting to make improvements with the home then. So on and so forth, blah, blah, blah. Try to leave that conversation with at least 3 relatively significant problems. Okay. All right. Then you transition into your close. Okay. We understand that. All right. Am I closing the customers? I've still heard people say things like, does that sound helpful? Okay. Questions like that, guys, they work in the canvassing script unless you have a second part to your close. There's a way that this could work out. Okay. There is a way, admittedly, that this could work out. The reason why it's not as easy, okay, is because, and understand this, because a lot of people ask me this question. A lot of people go, well, if I didn't say the quote's good for a year yet, then I can just do my second close. Why can't I ask the question, does that sound helpful? And then when they say no, I just rebuttal them. Or I say, well, the quote's good for a full year, just like I did with canvassing. Guys, the difference is with canvassing, you've built up several objections before you get to this part. Okay. In canvassing, you've probably gotten 3 or 4 no's by the time you get to this part. In events and in this other kind, other retail and stuff like that, the biggest difference is, sorry, it's getting exhaustingly late. It's about midnight right now, and I'm tired. So In events, you're not getting those objections if you're doing things the right way, right? If I'm bringing that customer through the sweepstake and through the window need the way that I want to, and I'm approaching them that certain way, I'm probably not getting many objections because that customer hasn't realized the reality yet, which is that they're getting an appointment from me. Okay. So what happens is all of the objections that I would have gotten in the beginning of my canvassing pitch gets pushed right to this part here. And now I have to deal with 3 or 4 different things at one time. Okay. That's why I want to hard close that customer right there. Okay. We're going to have people in your neighborhood as early as tomorrow. We can have somebody come out as early as tomorrow. What time do you typically get out of work? Okay. Or you could say we're going to have customers out as early as, I mean, we're going to have foreman out as, we can have a foreman out as early as tomorrow. Again, it's very, very, very late, very tired. I've been working for like since this morning. So we can have foreman come out as early as tomorrow. Look at the clock. So I'm guessing that you're typically out of work at this time. Okay. Not a bad route to go. All right. You're getting that yes commitment from the customer. You're moving on, or you're dealing with an objection, which rebuttals is going to be a video that comes on tomorrow too, because it's exhausting today. Rebuttals and need we'll do at the same time. Okay. We'll be in a separate video. All right. But closing that customer, guys, is super, super important. Get rid of the, does that sound helpful? Get rid of the, is there a time that works out for you? Get rid of that kind of crap. Close, and rebuttal. Okay. And finally, the last part of this section, am I firming up my appointment and am I calling it into the call center? Okay. This is something that WCPA has struggled with a lot more than CPA, although today they were really, really good with it. So that's very, very impressive. And I'm happy to see that. Okay. You saw our close rate. You saw our average sale on the retail appointments. It was destructive. Okay. It was destructive. No doubt the reason why our close rate is so high on events leads or event sweepstakes, events leads more than sweepstakes, is because we're getting more laydowns there than we are at retail. Okay. We've now gotten so good at retail that we're not getting the laydowns there that we are at events. Okay. We want to be good with both these things. We can have very successful appointments. You look at a guy like Seth, he brought his cancellation rate from like nearly a 90% cancellation rate to about a 48% cancellation rate with a lot of leads. So you're talking like 28 demos last month or something like that, not counting the calling stuff and whatnot. That's going to be because he's firmed up his entire script. Okay. But mainly he's asking clearly for the at least 90 minutes. He's getting the clear commitment for that. He's getting the commitment to having the second party there. And he's doing a good job of making sure that he's explaining the benefits of going through us right now. This $500 gift card, you're only going to get that through me. You need to make sure that you keep this appointment to take advantage of that $500 gift card. We're having this great Black Friday promotion that's been extended now through December 15th. Even when we're out of Black Friday, we're having this great holiday promotion. If you buy one window today, okay, if you were to buy one window, then you're going to get the second one 20%. What is it? Buy two, get one 40% off. Buy one, get one 40%. I don't know. I think it's buy one, get one 40% off. If you buy two of these windows, so then you're going to get 20% off each time, or you'll get the second one 40% off. Okay. Make sure that you're using all the tools to your trade. Okay. Make sure you're using all of those tools to firm up that appointment. I'm even down to the appointment reminder. So I'm going to give you this slip here. I know it's small, it's a piece of paper, whatever, it's easy to lose. Please make sure that you put this on your fridge or that you keep this. I would not want you to forget about this appointment. Okay, it's very, very important. Okay. When you call into the call center, anything you set that's within a 48-hour window is going to be confirmed. That's why it's so damn important that you call into the call center. Now, I don't care if that customer says, I'm not going to set this up for a week, or I need a week from Friday. Call into the call center. When a customer says that, just say, okay, great, I'll take a note of that, and then keep going. Okay. Let the call center deal with that. All right. If you have a question on the call center phone number, for some reason, still it's 717-591-4900. Okay. It's 717-591-4900. Okay. I'm exhausted. All right. You can see it in my face, I'm sure. I am done for the day. All right. We still have rebuttals left to go. All right. I know that this is long. I know that it's taxing. I know that it's me just talking. Trust me talking at a camera for however long this has been. It's a killer on me too. Okay. I know it's a killer to listen to sometimes. All right. You guys are doing a tremendous job. All right. Be a visionary. Be a visionary, guys. Look at what we can do together as a team. Look at what you've been doing now for the last, 8 or 10 months. It's amazing stuff. Keep on going. Let's keep on moving, guys. Let's get rid of this stagnation and work on moving forward together.